How's it going, bros? My name is PewDiePie, and today we're going to be doing an oil change on this 5.7 2016 Ram 1500 360 no scope. So the first thing I want to show you really quick before I forget is how to open this hood. It's a little bit different than my 2005. You open it at the top, but I'm sure you already know that. So the supplies you'll need is 7 quarts of oil. I use 5W20 Advanced Full Synthetic. I'm in Southern California. You can use whatever you want. That's what I'm using. And then you need your filter and some kind of a filter and wrench. I just went with the one that goes right on the end. Unfortunately, my 2005 Dodge Ram oil filter wrench was way too big, so it didn't fit. And then you need an oil pan. So first you're gonna take off this engine oil cap, just because you want to be able to let the system freely flow when you take off that drain plug, get all the oil out. Then we're gonna head under the truck. Alright, so heading under the truck, just to give you a reference where we are, this is the front passenger tire. And we're heading under. We got our oil bucket and we got our 13 millimeter socket. Let's just make sure that fits. It does, it fits. Alright, cool. So we're gonna loosen that up and get all the oil to drain into this oil pan. Alright, so I've never done this before with this truck, but I got it loose. It wasn't very hard. You might have a little bit of a harder time because sometimes I have had a pretty tough time. So we're gonna try to do this without getting oil everywhere, although I'm sure we're going to. So basically, just obviously like any other truck, just quickly, oh, I got all over my hand. Typical. Alright, so from now, I'm gonna let all this drain out into here. Make sure you give it some room because it's gonna start dripping. So, I mean, you get the point. Let it all drip out, just let it sit for several minutes and keep this thing from getting dust in it, this drain plug. So I'm gonna go wash my hand off and then I'll be right back. Alright, so now the oil is pretty much done, but we still have something else we gotta do. We gotta take off the oil filter. And so I brought some of this stuff so that when the oil comes spilling out, because oil will come spilling out, it should just go all over this stuff right here. So basically the oil filter is right here in reference to the oil drain plug. It's right up there. So I've got this oil filter wrench and I'm just gonna unscrew the oil filter and then get that bad boy taken off. So I'm gonna have to use this pivot extension, I just realized, so you might need one of those, or actually you really don't have to use those. I'll show you why. You don't have to use one because you don't need an extension at all. You can just stick it on like that and then start loosening it. So I'm gonna do that. I can't do it while I'm holding this, but basically you just put your wrench over, make sure you have the right size wrench, stick it over the filter, and then just start to loosen it and screw it off counterclockwise. Alright, so we were screwing this off and it's really just kind of leaking everywhere. It's kind of a big old mess, so I need to make a decision. Alright, I made my decision. I'm going to get this because this is leaking more, and I'm going to put this over there, and I've already got a bunch of oil going everywhere, which is really not good. Alright, so I got the oil filter off. I hope that you'll learn from me that the oil filter is in a very tough to reach location. Right up there, and it's basically just in the middle of a bunch of different things. It was a lot easier to reach on my truck that I used to have. However, if you have some things that can collect all the mess, you're fine. Just that's kind of gonna suck because I'm gonna have to dump it into there and then dump it into the bottles and bring it back to AutoZone. But I do have some oil that I spilled, which I'm just gonna have to clean up. But next time what I'll do is I'll just lay out a big piece of like cardboard so that if I do end up spilling any, I'll be able to handle it a little bit better than that. So anyways, what we're gonna do now is I rubbed a little bit of the old oil on this oil filter. I don't know why I did that, but that's what everybody does, and so I'm a bandwagon and I did it too. So now I'm screwing the new filter back on right where the old one was, and I'm just gonna screw it with my hand until I can't, and then I'm gonna grab my tool, which is right here, and I'm gonna set it to tighten, and then I'm just gonna tighten this bad boy down until I don't want to go too tight. I just tighten it a few times. There we go. That's good. Okay, sorry, I had to talk to someone, that's why I didn't explain that very well, but I just basically screw it till I'm hand tight and then do 3 or 4 more turns just so that it's on there pretty good. But I don't screw it down to any certain dimension. I'm sure you could, but I never do, and that's how I like to do it. So from there, I'm just gonna let this drain for a few more minutes, and then I'm gonna pop that cap back in so we can add the new oil. All right, it's been several more minutes, and you know, I'm just thinking about my explanation for this oil filter. It's pretty funny. I mean, it's just, you know, goes to show we are Americans. It's still leaking. We like to not do things to specs. We cross-thread things just so we can fix them, because we're stupid. All right, I'm gonna have to keep waiting a few more minutes. All right, so it just keeps on dripping for 20 minutes, so I'm just gonna put it in. I'm sure there can be just a little bit of oil. I mean, you gotta think about that Valvoline. I don't sit here for 30 minutes, so we're gonna screw that back in. We're gonna get our 13 millimeter socket, and we're gonna tighten it up. Well, I've somehow managed to lose my 13 millimeter socket. That's so funny. And so now I have this longer one to finish up the job. So I usually just do the same thing. I just kind of hand tighten it. I don't use any Torx. I probably should, but I never have, and it's always been great. So let's see if you can see this. I just kind of hand tighten it, and then just a little bit more until you know that son of a bitch ain't coming off. And from there, I'm gonna head back up to the top of the truck, and I'm gonna get the hood up, and we're going to use this. Sorry, there's this moving truck right here, and it's like he's trying to get by, but he's gonna have to go around because I'm working. I also have to use this funnel. Now the funnel is optional, but I would highly recommend it. Sorry, I forgot to put it at the beginning. It's a very dysfunctional guide, but if you follow it, you can get the job done. Hopefully you watched it before you started, or like went to the store, because otherwise you're gonna be missing stuff. Give it a dislike. I don't care. I'm just here for you. So we're gonna start dumping 7 quarts. I'm gonna pause and continue once I'm closer to the 7. All right, so I put 6 in there, and here is the last quart, and that'll be 7. So let's get it all in there, and there we go. We got the 7. So we're gonna make sure that it's good after we close everything up, but 7 should be just about right. So now we're just gonna screw this cap on, and as you can see, I got a couple drips of oil right there. I'm gonna go clean those off, and then I'm gonna go inside. I'm gonna wash the crap out of my hands and stuff and change my shirt before I get into my buddy's truck, and we take her for a little test drive, and then we're gonna go and check the oil level to finish. But I'll be right back. I'm gonna go wash up. All right, all washed up, got my white shirt on, and hopefully I didn't leave anything in here, because I mean, I totally would. That is typical me. And someone just called an Uber because I heard the sound. I heard that, you know the sound. If you've ever had an Uber, I mean, some of you probably haven't, because you live in like Canada where they don't allow it. In what, Vancouver? I was just in Vancouver, couldn't get an Uber. There's a bunch of crazy BS. All right, so I'm gonna go and put this in my garage for now. I'm gonna dispose of it later, off camera, in the bushes. Just kidding. I'm gonna dump it into here, and you can just bring it right back to AutoZone down the street, and they take it every time. If they don't, then maybe I'll think about the bush idea, but probably not. I won't do that. Don't worry. Don't worry. Dislike the video for other reasons, not because of that. All right, so let's go take it for a test drive. All right, so you can either just run it until, I don't know, probably right now actually. I usually just like to turn it on for a minute or two, but I'm so confident that I have the right amount of oil in. I'm just gonna take her for a little spin, a little spinaroo. Actually, I mean, I gotta take her back to my friend's house. Now, we have to reset this oil thing. So I'm not gonna be able to tell you how to do that, unfortunately. But I tell you what, you can look it up on Google and you can find it out, because it's very easy to reset. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna bring it back to my friend's house. I'm gonna give it to him, but first I'm gonna go and show you that this is the correct oil level. So I'm just gonna probably pull across the street or whatever and get that reading for you. All right, we're pulling into the gas station. This is a familiar spot if you own one of these trucks. That guy knows. It's a good looking truck right there. All right, so we're gonna turn the truck off, and I'm going to put the hood up again, which by the way is down right there. And I forgot my paper towels, but we have some right here. That's why you gotta go to the gas station. All right, so just pull this engine oil thing out. You probably know how to do this, but just in case you don't, pull it out, wipe it off with a paper towel. I just wiped it off, but I couldn't hold the camera and wipe it off at the same time. Then completely insert it, and then rip her back out. That's what she, all right, so then you just gotta make sure that it is in between these two holes. And you can see one hole is full and one hole is not, which means we're good. We're donezo. We are gonna try and get this in. It's like a game with one hand. It's very oh my God. Come on. This is really hard. I don't know if you're watching this. Did I get it? I got it. That was so hard with my left hand. That's like a fun game you should play when you're done. I dare you. See if you can beat my time. All right. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in 2059 when I'm dead.